Over the next several months, Lenin helped drive revolutionary enthusiasm to new heights. The Bolsheviks became increasingly influential, forcing the Provisional Government to take them seriously. By the fall of 1917, Russia was in political and economic chaos, creating an opportunity for Lenin and his followers to seize power. The Bolshevik Revolution occurred on November 7, 1917, according to the Western calendar. Students are often confused because historians also refer to it as the October Revolution. The reason is that Russia was still using the old Julian calendar, while Western Europe had adopted the Gregorian calendar. November 7th on the Western calendar corresponded to late October in Russia. The Bolsheviks moved quickly to take control of key facilities throughout Petrograd, including railroads, banks, power stations, bridges, and telephone exchanges. Most soldiers stationed in the city supported the Bolsheviks. By nightfall, only the Winter Palace, the former residence of the Tsar and the headquarters of the Provisional Government, remained under government control. At approximately 9 p.m., Bolshevik forces began shelling the Winter Palace. By the early morning hours of November 8th, Red Guards had entered the building and arrested several government officials. Alexander Kerensky, however, managed to escape. On November 8th, representatives of the Soviets, workers' and soldiers' councils, whose name means assemblies, met under Bolshevik dominance. They approved Russia's withdrawal from World War I, authorized the government seizure of private property, and elected Lenin as head of the new government. Within a week, the Bolsheviks had established complete control over Petrograd. Lenin ordered the nationalization of industry, confiscated land belonging to the Russian Orthodox Church, and declared that Russia would not honor debts incurred by previous governments. New revolutionary courts were established, and the regime created a secret police force to suppress opposition. This organization would evolve through several names over time, eventually becoming known as the KGB during the Soviet era. Despite these dramatic changes, conditions for ordinary Russians did not immediately improve. Food shortages remained severe, crime was widespread, and economic problems continued. In elections for a Constituent Assembly held in late 1917, the Bolsheviks won only about 1/4 of the vote. The results threatened Lenin's hold on power because they demonstrated that most Russians did not support Bolshevik rule. Rather than accept the election results, Lenin dissolved the Constituent Assembly by force. In doing so, he established a dictatorship that concentrated power in the hands of the Bolshevik Party, creating a system that in many respects proved as authoritarian as the autocratic rule of the Tsars. In March 1918, Lenin signed the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk, officially withdrawing Russia from World War I. Although the treaty imposed harsh terms on Russia, it allowed Lenin to focus on securing his position at home. Opposition to Bolshevik rule quickly developed throughout the country. Supporters of the former Provisional Government, monarchists, aristocrats, traditionalists, landowners, and even some socialists joined together in resistance. These anti-Bolshevik forces became known as the Whites, while Lenin's supporters were called the Reds. The resulting Russian Civil War lasted from 1918 to 1922 and was one of the bloodiest conflicts in Russian history. The Civil War sealed the fate of the former royal family. Lenin feared that the Romanovs could become a rallying point for the anti-Bolshevik forces. As a result, Nicholas II and his family were held under guard and ultimately executed by Bolshevik agents in July 1918. Stories later emerged claiming that some members of the family, particularly Anastasia, had survived. Modern historical and scientific evidence, however, has confirmed that the entire immediate family was killed. The Whites ultimately lost the Civil War. Although they shared opposition to Lenin, they were deeply divided and could not agree on what kind of government should replace the Bolsheviks. Their lack of unity contrasted with the discipline and organization of the Reds. By 1922, the Bolsheviks had emerged victorious, and Lenin's control over Russia was secure. The end of the Civil War marked the creation of a new state, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, USSR, better known as the Soviet Union.